So we've seen that hydrogen is being used to power a range of vehicles, from personal cars to heavy-duty vehicles to freight locomotives. And we've spoken with some of the people and the organizations who are leading the transition to fuel cell zero-emission vehicles. We can see that the vehicle technology is working, but access to hydrogen as vehicle fuel is limited, and this could discourage adoption. Without hydrogen refueling services, we can't use the vehicles, but without the vehicles on the road to serve, building hydrogen infrastructure seems like a bad business. To help us understand how we might clear this logjam and make some progress, I've reached out to Rye Smith at Change Energy Services. His engineering firm is based in Oakville, and they've designed many hydrogen stations installed around the world. We're meeting here at Enbridge Gas in Markham, at the site of a clean hydrogen production and storage facility, which could be the beginning of a much larger system that one day brings hydrogen to a corner gas station near you. Let's talk to Rye and learn how. Rye, thanks for taking time to speak with us today at Enbridge Gas. We're at the hydrogen facility at the Technical Operations Center, and we're standing beside a pair of very large hydrogen storage tanks. Can you tell us a bit about what's going on here?
Sure. Well, what Enbridge Gas is doing here is they're actually producing hydrogen on site. They're using a process called electrolysis, where they're using electricity from the Ontario power grid, so it's very clean, to split water molecules apart into streams of oxygen and hydrogen.
Is this the first step in an infrastructure that could serve the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area?
Absolutely. This is the kind of thing that is needed to really engender the development of a commercially viable hydrogen operation across the region. A central facility like this is ideal for producing the hydrogen, producing it in the quantities and in the form that is necessary to distribute to applications such as industrial, stationary, and vehicle refueling.
Sounds good. So when can we start using this hydrogen to power our fuel cell electric vehicles?
Well, it's going to take a little bit of development of infrastructure. Infrastructure takes time to develop, as it did for the gasoline vehicle refueling infrastructure. It provides an opportunity to electrify a fleet operation, but without the downtime associated with battery recharging.
So we can't drive up to a corner gas station and fill up with hydrogen now, and yet we have hydrogen being produced and stored here. There's a gap that needs to be bridged. How does that happen? How do we get from where we are here today to where we need to be so that drivers of fuel cell electric vehicles can access hydrogen fuel conveniently?
Because of the infrastructure costs involved in the initial development of hydrogen, it's more likely that we would see fleets of vehicles that are refueled on site as the starting point. And those stations would get larger, and eventually other fleets would be able to use each other's refueling infrastructure. By adding a little bit of extra capacity at each of these facilities, hydrogen is then going to be available for the general public. It'll take a few years, but we'll likely see the hydrogen application start with fleets and move on over time to public vehicle refueling.
Is that the end of it? Is there any role for government in this?
Oh, absolutely. The benefits of using hydrogen are for all of society, and the initial cost is very high. So there's a really good role for government to play in terms of sharing the risk, sharing that initial risk.
What kinds of vehicles and vehicle fleets do you see as the early adopters of hydrogen?
So hydrogen makes the most sense for vehicles that are also in commercial service that can't afford long periods of time being off the road. So what that leads us to is fleets of commercial vehicles that are tend to be medium to heavy duty, but even taxi fleets. If you imagine a fleet of taxis where the vehicle can't be off the road for very long, they need that quick recharge that hydrogen affords.
What can the average citizen who's concerned about this do? How do they get involved? How do they show their support?
Programs like the Hydrogen Village are a great way for the average person to tap into and learn about the fundamentals of hydrogen and where it's going commercially. So you tap into these resources, find out what's going on, where it's going, and then get to be part of that movement.
Well, it looks like we're at the start of a very exciting future, and I want to thank you for taking time to help us understand how it might progress.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
I hope that this video has helped to demystify hydrogen fuel cell electric vehicles, how they work, and build awareness of the role hydrogen can play in decarbonizing transportation. I invite you to visit our website to learn more and to become part of the Hydrogen Village.